All right, I'm back now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry that the first part of the feed got cut off, but I'm back with the other part of the point of view. Let me talk about WWE SmackDown. Man, SmackDown last night was hot. I heard that they were supposed to be changing it back to 2 hours. I wish they would just change it to 2 hours and 30 minutes. Bianca Belair is injured. She has a injury to her hands, to her fingers. I guess I thought she had a splint on her fingers. Um, that's an injury I've dealt with in my career, in my life, and it does affect a little bit because having a splint does hurt on the finger. So she's injured. She's out. Great match between Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton. I knew that the match was going to be thrown out because of Naomi or somebody was going to come out, or Charlotte Flair, but it was Naomi and Nia Jax that came out and interfered in the match. And let me say this, guys, I think that Naomi and Nia Jax are going to become a tag team. The way that they're looking at each other and things like that, it could be down the road that you see both of those girls as a tag team. Not only that, John Cena, Randy Orton will be fighting for the WWE Universal Championship, Championship at Backlash in St. Louis in 2 weeks. That's the city of Randy Orton. Randy Orton's from St. Louis. So we'll see what happens with RKO versus John Cena. This has been, 20 years in the making, but back in 2009, 2014, 2007 were the years that Randy Orton and John Cena had some great matches. So we'll see what happens. I think John Cena is probably going to win that match. I don't think they're going to put the title on Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton is there to draw some suspense. I don't think that a older legend is going to win the title from John Cena. I think it's probably going to come back around to where Cody wins, or it could be a Drew McIntyre, or it's going to be somebody that probably Money in the Bank could probably cash in on him. He's not going to be champion for the rest of the year. That's not going to happen unless they decide to have him with a long reign, which I think could happen since it's going to be his last rip. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, they're also talking about Travis Scott will be teaming up against John Cena to go up against either Cody Rhodes and Bad Bunny, or Bad Bunny and somebody, because Cody's going to want to get his revenge on John. He's taking time off. Gunther's taking time off. So these guys are probably going to be gone for a little while. I think Cody will be back next month. I think he'll be back after Backlash. That's why they didn't just put him in the ring with not Randy Orton, excuse me, but with um, John Cena in a rematch. I think the rematch is going to happen, and I think John's going to lose the title back to Cody. That's what I think is going to happen. Very interesting. The United States title push on SmackDown is interesting. Jacob Fatu has to deal with LA Knight. Could be Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest as well. It'll be interesting to see who wins that. I think Jacob Fatu still remains champion after that match. I don't think you take the title off of him yet. I think LA Knight needs to go up to the main event status. I think Drew McIntyre is probably going to go back to the main event status. And I think Damian Priest is going to be in the upper card, the upper mid-level card of the show. Congratulations to the champions. One champion won and one retained. The Street Profits, great match with them DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns. Absolutely great. And I was happy that the Street Profits were still able to retain their titles because they need that. They need that push, and they need to have those titles for a while. WWE needs to figure out something, man. You got too many tag teams on that show, and everybody can't be the world tag team champions. Now, if I was if it was me, I would make the WWE United States tag team titles for the guys. Because you've got a bunch of tag teams over there. The Street Profits are the tag team champions. Okay. You've got the Motor City Machine Guns, Sabin and Shelly. You've got DIY, Ciampa, and Gargano. Okay. Then you have the new team to the roster, Fractionman, Axelman, and Frazier. You have those guys. Plus you have Garza and Berto. So with those teams, and of course Pretty Deadly also, there's no way all those teams are going to have shots at those titles. Why don't you make some other tag team belts? Have the other tag teams fight for other titles, for another tag team title, a mid-card tag team title. That's how you do that. I know it's a bunch of belts, but hey, I'm here for it. More champions, because everybody's not gonna be the world champion in the business. And it's not just saying that they're not gonna be there, but it's just not gonna happen for them. It's that plain and simple. Also, ladies and gentlemen, let me also talk about the other thing that happened on SmackDown as well. Zelina Vega becomes the new Women's United States Champion, beating Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green had a nice run as the first ever Women's United States Champion. Zelina Vega, congratulations to her for finally winning her first ever singles title. I'm very proud of her. And not only that, her husband, Aleister Black, is now back on SmackDown as he jumped on The Miz, kicked The Miz and things like that. So it's good to see him back on there. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes on SmackDown. I hope he's not just on there for nothing. I hope that he does have a chance to be a champion. I think that's what you need to do. If you got Aleister Black back on the main roster, you should put him as a contender for a title. Could you imagine Cody versus Aleister Black for the WWE Undisputed title? They had said that the title, the Universal title, is no longer there. So it's interesting to see what happens with that as the moving pieces go on with that as well on SmackDown. Great stuff on SmackDown last night. R-Truth interacting with John Cena. Jimmy Uso interacting with R-Truth. We're going to see a lot of great things happening on SmackDown, and we'll see what happens in the moving pieces in the next couple of weeks, how this happens as we get ready for Backlash. Man, I want to talk about AEW just a little bit, man. I didn't know Master P was back on wrestling, man. Master P was on AEW. I know they were in New Orleans, but I didn't expect them to bring out Master P. Master P got involved and did some little rabbit punches to John Moxley, messing with him and stuff like that. But it looks like it's gonna be Joe versus Moxley for the title. I don't think Joe's going to win the title. I think Moxley's going to hold on to the title. I don't know who's going to beat Moxley for that title. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to find that out. We saw MJF still trying to get into the Hurt Syndicate. We saw some great matches. The main event was Jamie Hayter against Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander didn't need to win that match. Jamie Hayter did. So it looks like it's going to be Mercedes versus Jamie Hayter. And it looks like whoever fights that match is going to fight against Tony Storm at the pay-per-view. Also, let me also break something else down to you guys. Mariah May, I don't think she's coming back to AEW from what it's looking like. She may come back. But I don't know if she's gonna come back. If she does come back, where does that put her? Don't know. But I'll tell you what, if Mariah May, if Mariah May would come to WWE, Mariah May would be straight instant shot to the top of the moon, man. It's just that plain and simple. It is just that plain and simple what they would do with Mariah May. Pump her to the fullness. Because not only she's a very beautiful looking girl, but she has that what Tiffany Stratton has. That spunk and that fire. And those are the characters that they like. Mariah May is kind of like I'll tell you who her character reminds me of. And I may be wrong for this, but I seriously doubt it if you could see the similarities. I think Mariah May reminds me of Mandy Rose, kind of. I think that's part of her character. It's a small similarity, but I think Mariah May is a kind of a off-brand version of Mandy Rose. And Mandy Rose was stunning. And Mariah May is stunning. And I think that is what's going to happen when they fight. I mean, not when her, but when she comes to NXT or WWE, wherever she goes. I would love to see that match between Mariah May and Mandy Rose if it ever was to happen. That would be a great matchup. Uh, I would love to see Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill in a one-on-one match for the title. But it looks like it's probably going to be Tiffany and Nia Jax back at it again. So we'll see what happens with that as the moving pieces go on with that. Um, but yeah, man. Uh, I just wanted to come on and rap with you guys on a Saturday, man, as I start back doing this on a weekly basis, cause I don't want to miss nobody. I don't want people leaving and not thinking that I'm not back on here doing it. I am on here, folks. I've been tired. I've been not beat up to the point where people beat me up. I'm beat up, tired. Yeah, and it's a lot of other stuff going on, man. I'm trying to maintain through that. My health is fine. I just want everybody to know that I am fine. I'm healthy. Thank God for that. I don't have any type of, you know, any ailments like that. So I'm healthy. Just the circumstances of life, man, sometimes get you down, man. When you have things that you want to happen for you, sometimes they don't, and you gotta adjust to it, or I want to keep fighting for what I have. I want to keep fighting for what are the finer things that I need in life. I want to keep fighting for what's right in my life. You know what I'm saying? And and my heart goes out. And let me also say this, folks, before I end this podcast. I want to give a shout out to uh, Gilbert Arenas and his son. His son was in an accident, a car accident where he was in a coma, and I want to give my condolences to him and his son. They say his son is out of the coma, but I'm just praying that God will build him up, keep him, prepared, get him back to where he needs to be, because he was going to college at Arizona, and I think it was Arizona, and something like this happened to him. And my prayers go to Gilbert Arenas and his family, and Elijah's brothers and sisters. I just pray that, you know, God give him a full recovery, that he can come back in one piece where he can get back to what he does, which is playing the game of basketball. Not only that, um, I'm not getting on the Shannon Sharp situation. That's not my I'm not gonna talk about that at all. Um I'm gonna let that be. Um but yeah, man, I'm just praying that God opens the door for everybody, that everybody gets their blessings, everybody gets what they need, and everybody lives their life to the fullness. You only got one life, live it. Live it the way that God wants you to live. You know, do what you got to do to make yourself, in there. So live it. On that note, I'm gonna leave. God bless you. God keep you. You guys have a great Saturday. Enjoy sports, NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball, AEW Collision tonight. Um, just enjoy sports today. Major League Baseball, hockey playoffs as well. Just enjoy your dose of sports. God bless you. God keep you. Keep me in prayer. Keep you in prayer. I'm out.